Hello everyone and welcome to PlayStation Access. My name is Rosie and I'm joined today by the lovely Rob.
Hello.
Rob, I'm incredibly excited yet again because we're going to talk about Resident Evil 4 Remake.
It looks amazing.
It looks amazing and it's going to look even more amazing because we're comparing it to the original PS2 version today.
I remember playing it on PS2 and thinking it was one of the best looking games I'd ever seen. So I'm really excited to see how it stacks up with the PS5 remake that we're about to get.
It's really interesting as well because with the remake, they've called this section Exploration of the Lake After Sundown. So this, I'm presuming, is right after you've defeated the big boss in the lake.
Right after you've shot the water.
You've shot the water.
And got the trophy and it comes out and eats you, yeah.
100%. So those lovely bits. And already you can see...
Here it is. Here's the original.
The complete difference between the conversation with Hunnigan in the remake, where you just saw Hunnigan saying, oh, you've been out for 3 hours. And in the original... Leon's out for 6 hours. So, I
love that that's the kind of detail you're picking up on. I just love the fact that in the remake, they've completely redone the structure of this. So you're walking around while listening to Hunnigan have the conversation with you. Whereas here, it sort of takes you out of the game and puts you into like a Metal Gear style codec screen. It's just cool. I love to see how they've, not just redone the visuals, but also modernized the structure of the game as well.
So this is what happens as well in the original after you've had the conversation with Hunnigan. The environment is literally, there's the lake there, you're on the little island, and this is pretty much the area you have to explore, whereas already we saw in the remake, it was a lot more woody, if you really are in like a lost forest with still splats of blood everywhere.
Look at this. There's so much more environmental detail, isn't there? And it's richer as well. And darker.
Much darker.
I like the fact that they've just the whole atmosphere of the remake. It feels, just from watching it feels scarier to me than Resident Evil 4, the original. The original was very sort of action based, but look at this now. Like there's still so much atmosphere in this, but the remake has really sort of elevated. I think has elevated the horror aspects.
Definitely. This video was quite hard to compare in all honesty because the remakes added so much new stuff. It's like, how can you compare something completely new to something that's already original? So I've done my best to match the clips. This clip is from just after you've had a little encounter, just to show you the difference between how Leon's going more into a cave environment straight after going in that little forest area. This example here, you'll love this. You have a little kick in the face.
Oh, I love the spin kick. He's kicked his head off.
He kicked his head off, and we have these monsters appearing.
I remember this, yes.
So again, it looks like there's two of them here, but I'm presuming this is the scene when they're first revealed that these creatures exist. They've still got the crazy tentacle head things. You can parry their attacks now, which is really cool. But look how squiggly and chaotic and kind of beautiful they look with all of their little tentacles. Say beautiful.
I mean, it is an amazing looking game. I remember when these first came out, I was shocked and appalled, Rosie. I was like, I've beaten that monster. And the game was like, no, you haven't.
No, you haven't. But
look at the puddle. Sorry, Rosie.
It's the puddles. It's the more sort of ritualistic angles. There's clearly been some kind of, I'm guessing, ceremonial.
Some evil has happened there.
Something's happened there already to add to the atmosphere and the storytelling and the world building of this area. And then in the original, this is how we were introduced to those squiggly head monsters.
Squiggly head monsters.
I can't remember exactly what the parasite is called for the ones that just pop out the head.
Plagas.
Yes. So already there they are with all of their tentacles.
It's terrifying.
But already, like you can see, it doesn't have the sort of ritual table happening. For me, I was just like, quickly, I'm going to change my weapons. I mean, I know how to deal with these guys, I won't lie. Flash grenade.
I know what I'm doing.
Sorts them out when they've got that Las Plagas on their head.
Expertly done, Rosie.
Oh, thanks.
I would expect nothing less from you.
So again, you can just see even just combat a bit as well when you're kicking them away. It's so satisfying already in the original, but as you can see in the remake, you have the parries now when it's so much more quicker and everything.
It's efficient combat from you here, Rosie. Using few bullets, the knife and the kick. Yeah, getting the job done.
Could have done it better.
Oh, it looks so good. Every time it cuts back to the remake, Rosie, I'm just blown away. Like, it looks unbelievably good. Like Resident Evil 2 and 3 remakes, I thought looked fantastic, but it really feels like they've gone even further with Resident Evil 4. I honestly can't go over how good it looks.
Like, this is the same sort of area, roughly, that we're seeing in the original. And we're in a really deep cave now. There are new puzzles that have been implemented. Like, you know, this symbol where they're saying, oh, it's from the church. I don't know what this puzzle is yet, so I'm so excited to look into it. There's a map, I believe, of the lake on the wall there. So there's so much new stuff they've added in, and I just love how you're exploring more of a damp cave environment when it makes sense. I mean, you're right by a lake. Like, you know, delving into just these little areas here. Do you remember the little segments when you can hop on the boat here and there? We've got one coming up. You can see the boat by the lake down there.
Yes.
Talking about the golden chicken eggs as well. I'm very happy that golden chicken eggs are back.
I'm sure you are.
They're great when you find them on the floor. It's a real treat.
I remember doing this. The water looks amazing.
Yeah, no, it looks so good. And then again, to compare it to the original, this was the closest example from this segment I could find of a cave. So it's not that big of a section because the original focuses much more on being outside and traversing more along, I guess, the back of the lake rather than around the lake. So again, you can just look at how the cave has been built and how in the remake it just looks so much more damp damp and dirty rather than here where it's more looks like it's really been dug in a bit of the dirt. This is the segment as well where you go through that door, and just to show you again an example of when you're just about to go on a boat. I hope you don't mind, I had to get rid of some bats because I thought that they could give damage to you.
I do mind, Rosie. How dare you knife the bats?
But again, it's the segment from the cave building up to this. You had the little stool that was to the right, and you had the note talking about the golden chicken eggs. And then here, off Leon goes. You have the pre-made cutscene for just when he's taken off, whereas in the remake, you're in the boat and off you go. This is an example of a shack, it looks like, that you can get just from exploring the lake. So already, I feel like all these new areas, from what I can tell, is all from exploring around the lake.
So this is basically, in the remake, you're saying there's just they've not just remade pixel for pixel what was in the original, they've completely expanded upon what was there and added new stuff, new puzzles, new areas for you to explore.
Definitely. So, I mean, this shack, it's a whole new puzzle in this area. I've linked it because the closest example I could think to, you know, a shack that's in the cave environment from the lake in the original is the merchant shack, which you can see here. So I'm presuming that it's the same shack. However, I'm guessing because this merchant isn't actually that far away from a merchant encounter later on. So my guess is that they decided to make the shack just a little bonus puzzle in its entirety, and then the merchant just appears later on, but they've still kept the element of having the shack that you can climb up and explore and solve some puzzles here and there. Do you remember this with all the pushing of the boxes and everything?
I do. And back to the remake, he's charging through these caves.
Yeah, look at the speed. You can pick up some currency as well, and then just comparing that to the original boat controls. So again, it's like literally in the original, you just had the big lake where you found it, and then where those lights are is where the merchant shack is. And already we're seeing so much more other environments in the remake rather than just, you know, lake and then one exit. I mean, look at this section has a whole... obviously, I don't know whether this is along the main path of the story or if this is all additional, but it's all just around the lake.
I liked the knife takedown there. That was cool. Like a little knife finisher.
Yeah, the little knife finisher is great. I mean, again, with the original, it was so paramount sometimes that when an enemy was down on the floor, you get your knife and you just start slashing them, hoping that they're not going to get back up. Again, to preserve your ammo and everything.
Yeah, that's the way to do it. Oh dear.
Yeah, Leon's taking a little bit of a beating here. You've got the squiggly heads coming back.
We should reiterate that this isn't your gameplay, Rose. This is gameplay that Capcom has provided.
Yes.
So I imagine you're like, I would be destroying all of them flawlessly.
Where's
the
flash grenade?
Yeah.
And then again, just some more combat as well. Boom, kicking the head there, the fire.
The lighting is incredible.
Like, look at that while it's on fire.
He's on
and
fire.
The squigglies are happening.
Amazing.
It's going chaotic and crazy.
I can't wait, Rosie. cannot wait to play this again. Resi 4 was and is my favourite Resident Evil game of all time, as I'm sure it is for many people. I still think the original on PS2 looks really good.
It does. It looks fantastic as well. Like, do not get me wrong. The PS2 version looks fantastic and it's brilliant as well.
It's bringing back so many memories. It's aged really well. Like, it still looks really cool and atmospheric, and like the accuracy of it. That was always the thing for me. Resident Evil 4, like it just felt so accurate. Like the shooting in it just felt so satisfying and precise.
Yeah. And then we're going to park up then to this other shack. And I'm looking forward to seeing how you react to what's up the ladder here.
Oh, God.
Don't worry, I think you'll like it. I think you'll like it.
It's confirmed that Resi 4's shack game is strong.
You got the little purple light.
Yes.
There he is.
Oh,
it's the
yeah.
merchant.
Oh, I love him.
So there's the merchant as well. And here we go. Here's your interaction.
What a legend.
Opening up his coat jacket as well.
Would you like a TMP? Or perhaps some first aid spray?
Again, like upgrading your weapons, buying your inventory for him. Look how they've just updated the menu and how he rubs his hands together. You can actually see him.
Yeah. Oh, yes. Stranger, go on.
Yeah, I really want to have the moment where you try and buy something and it's too expensive and he goes, not enough cash, stranger. I really want to see how they made him do that in the remake.
I appreciate that they've still kept the classic inventory in a briefcase, got to make everything kind of fit system. You know, they've updated what needs updating, and they've kept what they know people are going to want to keep.
Yeah,
everyone has to have the little grid in the briefcase inventory, otherwise it's not a Resident Evil game. As far as I'm concerned.
So I've compared it to this one just because, again, it just shows some examples of tuning up your guns, how the merchant menus look and everything in this menu. And also just so people can, you know, because the voice actors are of course different as well, so people are hopefully hearing the differences between the two, both performances. And then I love this part as well. So remember, you could combine jewels. You can like decide where they're going, nice. And it looks so like nice and crisp. And I'm just like, oh, I want to decorate. I want to decorate my jewelry. And then again, comparing it to the original, where you had your menu. And then it just sort of went in like that, whereas now you can customize, it looks like, where you want specific colors to go on your inventory. And then just to round up the end of this video, it looks like now that in the save menu, you can also use this time to customize your storage. So if you buy a different suitcase size, you can do that from... So here we go, customizing case, you can do that from the save menu. You can change the case's colour. You can add a charm. So you can add a little chicken charm in the bottom left.
You and your chickens.
Look at it! And like here's like a fun little rotation model of it. And then the classic of the...
It's like it's been designed with you in mind, Rosie. Rosie would love a chicken charm on the briefcase.
Definitely, if I get the chicken charm, I'm definitely putting that on my briefcase. So again, both systems are incredibly satisfying. They've still kept the same, like... interlocking feel where it's just like, if you know what I mean. And then this is just, again, how you can save it in the, or how you do save it in the original with the whole typewriter aesthetic going on as well.
You've got to keep the typewriter. The typewriter's iconic, isn't it?
Well, Rob, thank you so much for watching this comparison of Resident Evil 4 Remake with me. Be excited. It's an incredibly exciting time, and we hope you all enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching.
プレイステーション